Oh, hi everybody. Today I'd like to talk to you about boosting our confidence when we speak English. And the reason I want to talk about this is because sometimes we tend to place a lot of attention to vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, but we are not aware that if we don't sound confident when we speak English, if we don't look comfortable or confident when we speak English, people will pick this up and the communication would not be probably the most effective one. ESL learners suffer from what is called the imposter syndrome. I have already made a video about this. But again, it's this feeling, this sensation that we do not belong to this language, right? That English is not our forte, and in consequence, we do not have what it takes to really speak the language really well. Well, I want to give you some tips on how to overcome that lack of confidence that we have, and which can impact or affect our communication in our everyday life, say at work or at school or in any scenario you're conducting yourself in which you have to speak English. The first thing that we gotta do is to actually start believing that we are good at the language, right? You gotta pretend at the very beginning that you're really good at the language. You gotta believe that yourself, even though you might have some problems here and there. In other words, you've gotta fake it until you make it. If you do not send yourself positive vibrations, positive thoughts about how strong your English is, you will not perform 100% because you yourself do not give credit about your English. However, you might be wondering, how on earth am I going to improve my confidence when I totally freak out if I have to, make a presentation in English, if I have to make a phone call in the target language, or if I have to talk to anybody in the street? Well, there are a few things that we can do, a few hacks that we can follow in order to work on this. I usually tell my students to memorize chunks of information in English. What does that mean? It means that you memorize expressions, sentences that can actually help you sound fluent and natural in the language. Say, for example, you don't understand somebody when he or she is talking to you. Number one, you're going to tell that person right off the bat from the very beginning, I don't understand what you're saying to me. So if you tell that person, for example, again, sorry, I didn't understand what you said, or you say, come again? Sorry, what was that again? Would you mind giving me an example about that? I don't actually understand what you're saying. You are using strategies not only to help yourself when you do not understand the language, but also to allow that other person to give you a helping hand to make the communication more effective because something is not working here on your end, right? However, we also need to work on our rhythm and intonation when we speak English, because people expect you to follow certain patterns of communication, your pitch, the ups and downs that you have when you communicate in English. So keep in mind that English is a very musical language. People have a lot of melodies when they speak English. Okay, so we have ups and downs. Your intonation, right? Your rhythm when you communicate in the language needs to be a certain way. So what can we do? There is something that is called the shadowing technique. And what does that mean? It means shadowing somebody whose pronunciation you like, somebody whose pronunciation you find appealing and attractive, and copy, mimic, and imitate that person's style. Remember, repetition is key if we want to improve our pronunciation and our articulation in English. You gotta try that again and again and again and again until you feel comfortable, and saying one expression in English, you like the rhythm and intonation. If you don't say, for example, you want to say how you doing, right? But you don't say, hey, how you doing? Or where are you going? And what was that? Can I help you? If you don't have that ups and downs, if you don't sound like making a question when you have to make a question, making a statement when you have to make a statement, people will not follow your ideas really clearly. And it's all about that, right? Making your speech, making your English delivery clear so people can follow your idea. Another thing that we gotta try on is actually using linking words. When we speak in sentences, that's true, but we need to connect one sentence with the other. Ideas have to be connected with one another. So if somebody says to you, like, what do you do on the weekend? And you say, I stay at home, I watched TV, I went to bed very late. Well, that's actually great. Those are simple sentences. But the idea is for you to connect those sentences, right? So you can say, well, first of all, I stay at home, but I didn't do anything, so I ended up going to bed really late. The fact that you're using first of all, and, but, so, in other words, finally, if you're using those glue words, those connectors when you speak, that allows you to sound much more confident in the language, okay? So when you strike a conversation in English, when you make conversation in English, memorize some linking words that can help you sound more natural in the language. Again, the idea behind fake it till you make it is for you to start understanding that you are good at the language. If you don't believe that yourself, nobody will do that for you. So you gotta do that over and over again until you realize that you have become good at the language, okay? So, and you know, faking it until you make it can only take you to a certain point. You gotta work on the language, you gotta put in the work, otherwise you will not see those tangible results that I usually talk about in my videos, okay? If you like this video, please share the video with your friends, talk about it with your instructors, talk about it with those people who are in the same learning English journey that you are at the moment.